the idea of working so hard. You shouldn't have to work so hard to have the things you need.
I think we'll be less and less preoccupied with heritage. Already we are less and less hereditarian than ever before. We're more and more future-oriented. It matters less and less where we came from. I mean, we all came from ancestors who swung from trees. But what matters is where we're going. Some people in the space program have suggested that we attempt to replicate conditions on Earth when we go out into space. To me, all this is really very unimaginative. I would like us to be much more unafraid and more daring and more gutsy and start off with entirely new game plan. I think by now all too obvious that we are on our way to evolving into a species that is no longer Earth-based. We are romping across the solar system, and we're going to create colonies on the moon, in Earth orbit, on Phobos, on Deimos, on Mars, and so on. We are on our way.
He let you let your imagination wander about your own possibilities, too. And I think he was a wonderful kind of promoter of go do, you know, explore, and kind of helped me think through pushing all of that as far as I did and keeping it in my life.
The fact that we're no longer of this planet only, and the fact that we're no longer confined to these bodies, leads me to foresee a time, very short, very, very shortly, I'd say in the coming 2-3 decades, when in fact by no stretch of imagination, by no stretch of definition can anyone be called human. We are already trans-biological, trans-solar beings, and therefore we are transhuman. And even transhuman is not our final destination. It's just a transitional phase from the human to something infinitely more advanced, infinitely more refined, infinitely more sophisticated, and that is the post-humans of the middle of the 21st century.
The years leading to the year 2030 will see the beginning of the phase-out of aging and of death. Give us another few decades and we'll be able to change very nearly all parts of our systems. Let's say a part of one's body begins to malfunction, well, why die? Why not replace it? We will not only be able to replace very nearly any part, any malfunctioning part of the body, but we'll be able to do something infinitely more, I think, exciting. We just give the person a new body. If we are able to build bridges and ships and even buildings that last for hundreds of years, why can't we build bodies that can last for hundreds of years? Or bodies that can be easily jettisoned or easily replaced. And I believe we will.
In the year 2000, the individual, very nearly anywhere on the planet, will have the potential, a very, very good chance of living forever.
Dr. Temkin, we're ready on this end. You don't mind if some of our younger people who are not involved in genetic programming just observe?
Oh, no, not at all. I like to be watched while I clone. And the more the merrier, you know. I never clone alone.
I really minded this wisdom thing of that you work your whole life for this, like FM, and then it's so cruel. Why at the peak of your knowledge and your abilities is it snapped away? I don't understand it, do you?
When people talked about him and colleagues of mine read his obituary and said, oh, I remember, and his writings, and it was, you know, I realized how we knew him from the reverse side, right, which was really, we really knew him first. As this guy, and then later sort of grew to know all that he taught.
I didn't conform to all of his beliefs. I'm not a vegetarian, but I saw I saw a logic and a humanity and a compassion that very few people that I've ever met have.
He would be so pleased to come back. He certainly will always be in my mind and my heart as a man of intelligence and integrity, a man who was inspired by love and guided by knowledge.
Very statuesque, distinguished, calm presence.
I sort of love the idea that he challenged us all to think about the possibilities of the future.
Just always felt there was hope, and there was a bright future ahead, and not a grim one as a lot of people make out.
People who helped spearhead all the movements I mentioned a little while ago, most of them are not remembered, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. They were spearheads. They had a vision. They had goals. They were catalysts. They made no compromises. And the greatest monuments to their achievements are the successes of their movements. And we are committed to the transition or the shift to new values, a finer world, a better world, a lovelier world, a sweeter world, a gentler world.
All I need is a little time to get behind the sun and cast my weight. All I need is peace of this mind, I can celebrate. To give, there's something to give. All now, there's something to do. All now, there's something to do. All now, there's something to live with you. With you. Get behind the sun and cast his way. All I need's a place to find, and there I'll celebrate. All in all, there's something to give. Something to give. All in all, there's something to do. All in all, there's something to do. All in all, there's something to live.